Is it worth cross-listing? What platform should I be listing my items for sale on? What cross-listing software should I be using? If you are a reseller, there's a good chance you are cross-listing your items, or at the very least have considered cross-listing your items. After all, that's what everybody is doing, right? Slow sales on eBay? Well, are you cross-listing? Because Poshmark is on fire. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my personal opinions on cross-listing and the pros and cons of cross-listing. Before I jump into it, I want you to drop a comment down below and let me know if you're cross-listing or if you're not cross-listing. Tell me what software you're using and what platforms you're cross-listing your items on. I want the comment section to become a place for people to come and get opinions and see what everybody else is actually doing. Let's get this out of the way. I do not cross-list my items. I have tried it before and it was not for me or my business at the time. However, I have started to reconsider my opinions on cross-listing. I truly believe there is no right way or wrong way to run your reselling business. You can make a lot of money by selling on one platform, and you can also make a lot of money by selling and listing on all the platforms. There is no one way to make reselling work. It all just depends on your business model and what you hope to accomplish. However, for me, I feel like cross-listing is a big distraction that I just don't need in my business. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that I sell almost exclusively on the eBay platform. Now, I've dabbled in almost all the reselling platforms. However, I have just stuck to reselling on eBay. I still do sell larger items locally through Facebook Marketplace and my local ads. However, when it comes to online sales, I'm 100% in on eBay. I think this is often overlooked. You can only focus so much on a bunch of things. If you want to put 100% into something, you have to focus 100% of your effort and energy on that one thing. So if you're spreading yourself too thin by trying to learn a bunch of different platforms and what they want and what sellers and buyers do on those different platforms, you're spreading yourself too thin and you can't focus on one task at a time. From my experience and talking to other successful resellers, if you want to make big numbers in reselling, you have to pick one platform and go all in on that platform. So why eBay? Well, eBay is the biggest platform out there. Yeah, I know Amazon is bigger, but when it comes to pre-owned items that the average reseller is going to be selling, eBay is unbeatable. Whether you like eBay or not, it is the biggest platform out there with the biggest audience. And me personally, I want to be where the most people are at. If you disagree with me, go ask 100 people if they know what Poshmark is. Now, sure, there'll be a few people out there that say, yeah, they know what Poshmark is. But how many of those people would know what eBay is? From the 75-year-old grandma to the teenager looking for Y2K clothing, eBay has name recognition. Everybody, for the most part, knows who eBay is and what they sell on the platform. Now, this isn't to say there's no value in any other platforms. In fact, I think depending on what you sell and who your audience is, some of the other platforms are actually a better choice. If you're a content creator with a huge following, Whatnot is huge. If you're selling to younger crowds, like teenager crowds, then Depop might be the way to go. Each platform has its advantages and disadvantages. However, for me and what I sell in my business, eBay is the best reselling platform for me. Real quick, I just created a Facebook page where I'm going to be sharing a bunch of reselling content and behind the scenes stuff. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to go hit the like and follow button on my Facebook page so you see that content. The link is in the description. No matter what platform you decide to sell on, you've probably heard of the term cross-listing. It simply means taking your listings and listing them on multiple platforms, whether that's 2 platforms all the way up to all the platforms. Cross-listing is simply just listing the same item on multiple platforms. In theory, this gets your items in front of more potential buyers, therefore increasing your overall sales. I say in theory because one bad item with one bad listing spread across multiple platforms still will not see the traffic of one good item with one good listing on one platform. That will beat listing crap on every single platform any day of the week. Cross-listing comes with its own set of problems. Anything from selling multiple items on multiple platforms, so you have one item listed and it sells on multiple platforms and now you have to start canceling orders, to not understanding rules and policies on the platform, and even how to create the best listing on that platform to actually make it worth the time. Now, yes, there is cross-listing software out there that can help you with some of these steps. However, you have to pay for cross-listing software. And to be honest, from everything I've seen, it adds a layer of complexity to reselling that just isn't needed. If you know that the majority of your buyers are on one platform, then why wouldn't you just focus all of your effort on that one platform? Instead of getting complicated and trying to list it on all these different platforms and worrying about what the rules are and which platform you can sell this on and what platform you can sell that on, it's best to just master one platform and sell that way. For me, cross-listing just isn't worth it. I currently, in my eBay store, have a 72% sell-through rate. This means for every 10 items I list inside my store, 7 sell within the first 90 days. So I don't have a sales problem. I don't need more buyers. What I need is more product at the correct price points. That is my bottleneck. My bottleneck isn't finding buyers. My bottleneck is finding profitable items to flip. Now, if you have slow sales on the platform you're currently using, let's just say eBay, you might be more apt to actually say, you know what, it's worth switching platforms or maybe even trying cross-listing. However, I believe this is a common trap that a lot of new sellers fall into. Instead of learning the platform and learning what items sell and how to create good listings and how to find items that sell fast, they focus on listing a bunch of garbage items on a bunch of different sites. They assume more eyes on the product will sell the product. However, the product is what the buyers want. They'll find your product on eBay or on Depop or on whatnot. Wherever you are, they'll find that item if there's demand for that item. So if you're finding items that have a high demand, it honestly doesn't matter which platform you're on. But I understand the thinking here. I did this when I first tried cross-listing. I was having slow sales on eBay and I said, you know what? It must be eBay's fault. I'm gonna try cross-listing. You know what I found out? I found out that I had slow sales on eBay, on Poshmark, on Mercari, on Depop. I had slow sales everywhere. Surprise, surprise. It wasn't eBay, it was actually the items I was selling. So I learned to roll back and focus on one platform and focus all my effort and energy on finding the best items to sell to my audience. Typically, it's not going to be the platform that's causing the trouble. It's not going to be finding customers for your products. It's going to be the items that you're buying. It's going to be the demand for the items. It's going to be the sell-through rate. It's going to be your title. It's going to be your listing. It could be the photos. There's a bunch of different factors that go into it, but it's super unlikely that it's actually the platform. Rather, it's you creating poor listings or selling bad items. Now, I know this is a little harsh, putting all the blame on the person that's having the slow sales, but at the end of the day, there is someone on every platform making sales. So why are you not making those sales? It's not because you're not listed on all the different platforms. However, for me personally, I'm not going to recommend something to my audience that I personally don't use or don't believe in. So until the day I start using cross-listing software, I like it and I see an increase in sales, you won't find me telling you what cross-listing software you should be using. Because to be honest, I don't know. I haven't used that many. So I can't sit here and say that this one is the best one over this one. Now, if you want some of that information, check the comments down below because I'm asking everybody to drop down below what cross-listing software you're using, which places you're listing your items on. I want that information down below because I can't provide that information. So hopefully you guys as the audience can kind of crowdfund that information and share it. And maybe I'll even learn something and go try one of your guys' favorite cross-listing softwares and see if it's actually worth it. So in the beginning of this video, I said that I was changing my mind on cross-listing. Well, there's only 2 reasons I would ever change my mind on cross-listing. The first reason would be for security. Now, I'm full-time on eBay. I resell full-time and I pay all my bills through reselling, especially through eBay. So for security reasons, I think I might need to expand because if eBay was ever to fire me from the platform and no longer allow me to sell on their platform, I would have to start over from zero on a new platform. Where if I started cross-listing now, I could build a store on another platform that I could always use as a fallback plan if eBay was ever to fire me from their platform. Obviously, it doesn't make a lot of sense to put all my eggs in the eBay basket because eBay has and will continue to remove sellers and provide minimal support of ever gaining an eBay account back again. So for me, it's a security issue for my financial freedom to make sure that I have another way to resell if eBay was to be ripped out from underneath me. The second reason would be I completely maxed out on eBay. Now, I don't think this is ever going to happen because in order for me to max out on eBay, it would mean that there is no way for me to make more money or have more sales on eBay. Essentially, eBay would have to be holding me back. And in order to do this, I would have to scale so massive. I would have to hire people, I'd have to have systems in place, I would have to have procedures, and honestly, at that scale, cross-listing would just be another complication. You wouldn't want to have a bunch of employees and then try to train them on how to use 5 different platforms and show them how to ship 5 different ways and send out offers on 5 different platforms. You wouldn't want to have to do that. So as you scale, you're probably going to scale bigger, but only on one platform. No one scales and is the biggest seller on the eBay platform, on Depop, on Poshmark, and on whatnot. They're typically the biggest seller on one of the platforms. For me, currently, eBay is working great. eBay is quite the machine. If I feed it quality items at the correct price points, it spits out cash and sales for me almost consistently. The only thing I need to do is feed the eBay machine even more good items at a good price, and it will give me more sales. eBay is not the thing that's holding me back. Finding good quality inventory at the right price point is the only thing that's holding my business back at this moment. If you are currently cross-listing and it's working for you, then continue to do that. Obviously, don't stop doing something that's working for you. I know a lot of people that cross-list and they have great success with it. So it's not unusual to hear of people having great success with cross-listing. However, if you are cross-listing and you're still experiencing slow sales, I personally would consider scaling back. I would look and see which platform I'm getting the majority of my sales from. Typically, it's going to be 1 or 2 of them. And I would focus in on that one that is the top. All my energy and all my effort on learning that one platform. I would learn everything I can about the algorithm. I'd learn everything I can about the audience on that platform, what they're looking for and what they value. I want to know as much information about that platform as I can, and that's the platform I'm going to go all in on. It's super hard to go all in on multiple platforms. You end up spreading yourself too thin, and there's things that you're just going to miss. Now, if you're not currently cross-listing, but you're considering it, before you join a cross-listing software, I would recommend that you just ask yourself a few questions. Have you currently maxed out the platform you're on? Have you currently maxed out the amount of sales that you can get out of that platform? This could mean that you don't have enough time to go and get more inventory, so the only way to sell more items might be to cross-list. Or it might mean that you can no longer list any more items on eBay because you've maxed out how many items you can list on there every day, and the only thing you can do now is cross-list to try to get more sales or hire more people. Then maybe cross-listing is for you. However, if you're cross-listing because you have slow sales, I would ask yourself if it's the platform or if it's your listings and the items you're trying to sell. Because if you're just changing where you're going, it's not going to change the outcome. If you're doing the same stuff in just a different location, it's not going to change that dramatically. You're not going to magically take garbage items from eBay and go over to Depop and be able to sell those items there. There are a few rare exceptions, but those are exceptions. Those aren't the standard. Typically, if things aren't selling on one platform, they're not going to sell that much faster on another platform. After I asked myself why, I would go back and remember that there is somebody on every single platform that is making it work. No matter what size the platform is, the platform could be super small, there is at least one person on that platform that is selling a ton and is making a bunch of money. And the only reason they're able to do it and you're not is because they put 100% focus on that platform. It might be Whatnot, it might be eBay, it might be Depop. It doesn't matter what the platform is. They focused all their effort and energy on learning that platform, what the audience wants on that platform, and they've maybe even built an audience on that platform. The one thing that those people did not do is they did not say, you know what, I'm getting really great sales over here, so what I'm gonna do is just turn and go left and go way over here and try to learn something new. If the system's working there, like it is for me on eBay, the only thing we wanna do is put more items into that system because it just turns out cash. If your system isn't turning out cash, you have to look at the system rather than looking at going left. If you've enjoyed this video, I think you're gonna love this one, so go ahead and give it a click.